Hello and welcome back to the Two Dudes Movie Podcast. We've been gone, but Disney Plus haven't, and it's forged ahead with The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, their latest addition to the MCU. Hear us discuss what we think's been going on so far and where we think the show's going. All that and more after this fabby little jingle. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier appeared from the outset to not be maybe as flashy and as exciting as mysterious, if you will, as WandaVision. And I think that's pretty much spot on. I think it's not particularly flashy or exciting.
Yeah.
But
I think
I'm not saying it's bad.
I think
but
in the
I do
same
think
vein
that
Captain America and the Winter Soldier wasn't flashy though. It's still exciting and it's still good.
I would hasten to completely disagree. I think this show is, in a way, WandaVision had the opportunity to feed into. This show cannot feed into the fact it's television and feels like television. And they can make Falcon fly as many times as he wants, but Game of Thrones half dragons. I
get what you mean.
They have to understand, and Loki does look far more cinematic to me. I think they have to grasp that television, it's not just putting money into it, it's the approach, and hiring TV people to make a TV show ends up with a TV show, not a long movie, if that makes sense.
You're making it sound like you don't like this.
I always do that, though. That's my thing.
Now, I kind of understand where you're coming from. It is a lot more, rather ironically, seeming as literally WandaVision was copying TV.
Yes.
This does feel a lot more TV-like, but I do think the difference being, and this is where I do disagree with you, I think throwing money at it does make it look less like TV because of the pure facts of visual effects. Yeah, they're stunning. In the first episode, they were brilliant. And then from there, just the shot quality, the decisions on which shots they're using, how they frame things is not TV, it's movies.
Okay,
now,
so
the writing may be very episodic. I'd say that's probably the best way of putting it. It's very, this thing happens and it's contained in this one storyline and it's contained in this one episode, and then it moves on to the next thing, which they're linked, but they're also different. I feel like, although that's definitely more TV, which gives it that more, this is TV edge, I think the way that it's been chosen to be shot isn't.
So here's how I'll phrase it. If you take any scene, and I'll use this as an example because I want to talk about it as well. Let's take Falcon's opening action scene.
Mm-hmm.
If you take that and, say, put it in the middle of Captain America the Winter Soldier, obviously plot, blah, 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 but just the way it looks.
Yeah.
Does it look wrong?
No.
Does it feel the tone? The tone?
The tone's different.
The look.
Because they're different moves. They're different things.
No. I think the tone, I think the look, I think you could put frame next to frame and I would be able to tell you which one based on the way it's shot, because, to be honest, I don't know the minutiae of why. I don't get the vibe of movie level quality from this show in the same way. What I would say, though, is I think the show doesn't need it because the writing excels beyond. And again, my frustration isn't that it doesn't look like a movie, because it's not a movie. If they want to make it look like a movie, you need to get someone in and pay someone who knows how to direct movies and just tell them, just make a movie, make 6 little ones. But if you're going to make a TV show, just make one and just accept that's what it is.
But I also counter-argue that with the same kind of point of going, if you take the conversation that they had with Isaiah Bradley and you put that in Captain America and Winter Soldier, you look at the way it's shot, I think that would match it.
Yeah, I think it would. I think the best bits are the emotional writing beats. I think that's the problem. I think they're trying to say this is a movie. Let's just not have any particular action. Shows get by. Not every show on television has huge action set pieces.
It definitely feels like a buddy cop kind of TV show. You know, you watch the likes of Miami Vice, you watch the likes of, I don't know, CSI, NCIS, anything that's set within that sort of investigation. I'm not going to do that. No, but if you did, it has that same tone and that same vibe, and I think the action especially matches alongside those things.
Again, but then just it doesn't, because they're trying to do like Falcon flying out of a helicopter and it's like a cool chase or whatever. Like if you take the Bucky action scene, so the two action scenes that we have in episode 1, all the way back in episode 1, we have Falcon flying through the skies, taking out some helicopters, jumping through helicopters, very, very cool, but I still think the action scene where Bucky goes into the hotel and murders those people has more impact on that episode. I think it's a more arresting, interestingly
psychological
viewed thing, and I would much rather have a longer, more extended Bucky action scene or another action scene from Bucky than just the Falcon one. And I don't think it's a problem to not have the action. I'm not saying, well, I want more bigger set pieces. I just let's not have this prolonged Falcon set piece that just looks kind of, but like nothing really. It's not very exciting or energized. But I think feels a bit slow.
I think because that's also the opening scenes. I think that was very much just to show the audience that they're not gonna shy away from the Falcon side of it. Now, I do also want to mention that I think one of the other reasons why the Bucky one hits better, as we've said, is that psychological side. And it's, as you've already said, that's what this show is doing very well. Is the subtler, emotional, psychological, especially with Bucky, but also with Sam. I think we called it in our preview for this sort of thing with the where Zemo was going to fall into it and why Zemo was chosen. Is you can just see that psychological manipulation working perfectly. And it is really interesting, especially with Bucky. And I think that's why any action scenes you see with him, it's that... It's Black Widow, I think, said it to Hulk in Age of Ultron. It's he's forever avoiding the fight because he knows he'll win. That's how it feels like every time Bucky's fighting. And it's brilliant.
Yeah, I completely agree on this psychological thing. I think to go into it again, the point of TV that I find, the TV that I like and I enjoy watching is where I see a character, especially lots of characters, and I watch that development and that thought process, and I can see as events happen the change in that character, but I can see a change on a day-to-day.
Yeah.
You can see that one episode they might be really for this, and then the next they're not, but you can see the motivations behind.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that the movies don't have the opportunities to explore. I think one of the reasons Captain America was a very unpopular character, I think up to Avengers, I don't think he had a particularly strong fan base until Captain America Winter Soldier, because you've got this weird Boy Scout child who's drugged up on steroids to high heaven and just kind of says, well, I'm always right. Because
that's kind of what everyone's issue with Superman is. That's why Zack Snyder had a different approach. It's that I'm always good, and that's not interesting.
Yeah, I think what they did in Winter Soldier was dive deep into the very idea of what goodness is. They went, okay, well, is the state good? Is that who he's serving? Does he serve the state? No, because the state could be corrupt. He serves the idea that he believes is good, which isn't always correct. But that's what he has to stand by. And I think that's what we've already had this dive into with Falcon especially, and with Bucky to a degree, is this idea of what's right. Falcon has given up the shield, not because he doesn't want it or doesn't care, but he doesn't think he is good enough.
Yeah.
He doesn't think he can do what Cap did, that he is the right person for that shield. Well, he has no expectation that anyone else will pick it up.
Yeah, well, that's the interesting thing is obviously when someone does then pick it up, we then have this, okay, like, there's this moral void, I think, of, right, this shield, and I think Bucky says it perfectly in a lot of different scenes, but especially in episode 3, where he sort of talks about this idea that the shield stands for more than just... It means a lot to a lot of people, which is why the American government has decided to bring in someone else, is to try and use the shield, put someone behind it and go, look, this is someone you can look up to. But of course, it's nothing, as Falcon says in the first episode, the shield is nothing without the person behind it, being Steve, which is why he gave it up. But in episode 3, Bucky says, if you're not going to have that shield, I'll go take it off him. So we have already this idea that Bucky's sort of saying someone needs to be behind the shield who knows what Steve stands for and is ready to stand up for what Steve did.
Yeah, I think it goes back to that point again in Captain America: Winter Soldier. It's established that Cap is not standing up for the American way. He's standing up for what he believes in, and that's why he was given the shield, because it's seen as him knowing the difference between good, evil, and the minutiae, the grey area in the middle. Yeah. He knows, and even if he's wrong, like I think most people would say he was in Civil War, he stood on against the law, against his friends and allies, but that's because what he believed.
Yeah, but it's interesting. And I was gonna say even his friends don't quite see it, because Sharon Carter makes the dig at Bucky in episode 3 where she goes, oh come on, you're all for the Star Spangled and the American way sort of thing, when he's saying that he doesn't like the new Captain America. And I think even then you see that she doesn't realise that it's not about the stars and the stripes. It's not. It's about the motivations and the moral behind why he did all those things, and that's what Bucky always stood for.
I think even more than that, it's about the man. It's not about what he stood for. It's about the man who stood for it, and that he would always stand for it, regardless of who got in the way, which is what you see in Civil War. He says, well, I stand here. Even if I'm a criminal, even if I have to go on a run, this is where I stand. Yeah. To go back to the writing, I think one of the things I was worried about, I was concerned, is a Disney Plus show. Oh, it's a Marvel show. Oh, big Papa Disney's looking down and he's going, what are you talking about down there? And they did talk about it, and I'm talking in relation to the racial issues that come to play and a black man's place in modern America. Yeah. And I think to credit the writers, to discredit them, talk about it more, to credit them, the fact that they even went there, I think is tantamount to the creative team's understanding of what they've been handed here. Yeah. And regardless of who's really involved behind the scenes, because I'm not actually certain of everyone, but the choices that they've made to look at Isaiah Bradley, but not just look at Isaiah Bradley, not just look at if a Falcon, a black man, is allowed to be Captain America, should be Captain America, but just the day-to-day dealings of his existence being a black man in America. You see Falcon go to the bank and they think he's a great hero, but we still can't give you a loan. And that might not be a racial thing, but then you have the moment with the police on the street where they're questioning him because they're having a loud argument, and suddenly he realizes who he is. And I just think it's... In that, again, one of the things I think the show disappointed me on was that they changed it up by arresting Bucky. I'm like, couldn't we have just left that taste of in our mouths of this idea that Falcon is literally just a nobody, or not a nobody? He's a black man who needs to be put
they see
down.
the black man first before they see who he is, and that's genuinely the way that a lot of people see. See it. It's terrible.
We've seen it this past year, and I think knowing when this series was produced, it is so poignant. And again, even more credit to them, the idea that this was happening before we've had this enormous swell of noise, of acknowledgement.
Yeah, like this isn't virtue
issues.
signalling. This isn't them going, "Oh, we're going to react to the times." This was always in the case. This was always written. This was filmed before any of this happened.
Yeah, and it's just another great piece of evidence, if you will, of something that I'm sure will be watched by lots of people who don't consider Black Lives important.
Yeah.
To go, well, this was issued. This wasn't a new thing. This isn't something that's just started. This is something that's been here for a while. Here's this show that was made, written even longer ago, and it's still talking about this. So don't pretend like this just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I hope, really hope, that John Walker is going to take a particular stance on this issue when Sam... I can't see Bucky getting it at this point. I think Sam will take up the shield.
Yeah.
And I want to see a character, hopefully John Walker, take a stance on that and be like, well, no, you can't for this reason. Because of your race, you can't be Captain America.
Now, it's quite interesting because I think that would be quite a weird in a weird way as well, thing for him to do, because obviously you have got his best friend, who of course in the comics becomes Battlestar Hoskins. But he is very much a sidekick. He refers to Falcon as his wingman. He automatically goes, the white man's in charge and the black man is his counterpart. It's not a case of...
You back me up.
Yeah,
you're my sidekick.
It's stupid is what it is.
I think it would be fascinating to see, though, and for like it or not, if we're going to have a villain in the MCU, or made of John Walker, if that's where he's headed, which I think we'll probably get into it, that's where he is headed, at least an anti-hero, why does he not represent that unfortunately and terrifyingly significant portion of America who does have these views? Should we not shine a light on that these issues exist and that they are bad, rather than straight out ignore them and pretend as if it's all this passive stuff? There are people who truly think that, and I think having a villain, again, especially in a Captain America akin to Red Skull, thinking that's America, well, I'm Captain America, I'm also a massive racist, is pretty poignant on where we are. Yeah.
Now, I only have one worry with it, really, and that's the fact that Wyatt Russell, who obviously plays John Walker, plays him brilliantly. And honestly, in the first outing as him, I thought it was really interesting. I thought, okay, well, you're gonna make me, in that first scene, I'm like, oh, I almost like this guy. And then of course he takes a turn throughout the episode. But the one thing I completely condone and I completely sort of say what is wrong with people is the fact that because of the fact that he's playing.
Just to clarify, the word you're looking for is do not condone.
Yes, sorry.
Do condone.
Yes, do not condone.
Before you tell people you condone this.
No, I do not condone. Is the fact that he's receiving death threats.
Yes. Just a message out into the world. Shut up. Go away. And you're a terrible human being if you think that any actor or creative involved in the show thinks what their characters think. Okay, it's acting, it's writing. Shut up, and I don't have time for you. And go away. I don't want you here anymore. Bugger off. Close your ears.
I do want to see his character become worse of a person, because it's quite interesting. So in the comics and also in what we've seen currently in the series, he was everything that I think Steve Rogers wanted to be before he took the serum. He had this. He's the peak of physical human ability. He is, commended on countless occasions of all the stuff he's managed to do. And he genuinely seems like a decent person to begin with, and it's just like the Captain America mantle, the pressure of having that has almost gotten to him and has made him, we see in episode 3, he's sort of like, oh, well, we need to go off the books because I need, they won't care how we got it done if we get it done. That pressure of I need to, the need to perform properly as Captain America outweighs any rhyme or reason as to what morals there are, whereas that's very anti-Captain America. But I think it'd be really interesting. I don't know whether you see his character going in the same way, because obviously in the comics he is stronger and more powerful than Captain America is, and obviously at the moment he's not, because he's not a super soldier. But are we going to see John Walker and the Power Broker cross paths and John Walker becomes super soldiers?
I have a very, very interesting theory on this. To get to that, I want to talk a bit about episode 3. So we see the breakout of Zemo, which I thought was a fantastic scene.
Yeah.
Again, just playing into that sort of buddy. We're not breaking them out. Oh yeah, okay. If we did though, what if we did this? And I think Zemo is a character. I love that he's a Baron. I love that he's super rich.
Yeah.
I love that
acting.
means he's not going to die and that he is staying in this universe because I want villains to stay. Yeah. I love ongoing villains, but I love characters who can just show up, if you will, and just be like, Captain America, you were doing a thing, but now I'm going to be doing a different thing, and you got to deal with me too.
Yeah. And
I'm just in your way, like Batroc at the very start.
Yeah.
That sort of just villain that can just be, I'm here too. And he doesn't necessarily have to pull focus. He can just appear. Daniel Bruhl is phenomenal in this role. I love his little club dancing, which has taken the internet by storm.
It's brilliant. I remember absolutely in tears laughing at that when it first appeared.
And yes, and talking in relation to Zemo, talking in relation to the Power Broker, potentially Sharon Carter, I think John Walker is heading to US Agent.
Yeah.
What I think is going to happen here is, and it has been talked about in relation to the Thunderbolts.
Ooh.
Now, the Thunderbolts is a villainous / anti-heroic team who basically go on sort of covert missions, but they're not hugely superpowered. There's not like to my knowledge, they're not like a Tony Stark Iron Man. One of the things that is important is that they're run by General Ross. Mm-hmm. And I do wonder, do I have a cheeky little gander, if maybe that is who the Power Broker is. We know that for his entire existence in the MCU, he's desperate to, 1, get the super soldier serum, and 2, control any superheroes. If he wants to create his own team, the Thunderbolts, to be able to monitor superhero activity, but also keep them in check. But obviously then you push to characters like US Agents, where are they really in it for the best reasons, blah 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 blah. Yeah. But I like the idea that General Ross is the Power Broker. I like the idea that he could get some super soldier serum in himself and become Red Hulk. I like the idea that US Agent gets super soldier serum, that Falcon gets super soldier serum, that who's the other person that should
get super soldier
someone
serum.
else
You get super soldier serum. You get super soldier serum.
Because it then ups them all in power. There are 12 vials left, and I think we will know, not necessarily by the end of this series.
I reckon they've all been
20, and they said they used 8. We said they used 8.
Oh, did they only say they used 8? Right.
They said they used 8, there's 20 left. They kept saying the numbers, so I believe that's it. Yeah. There's definitely some left, and I think we'll know where all those vials have ended up by the end of this show. I think that'll be one of the things, like 6 are with General Ross, or like, 6 are with Falcon.
Lord of the Rings style, yeah.
Yes.
I think that would be really interesting. I'm hesitant to agree with you because I don't think that Thunderbolt Ross will be the Power Broker, just because he's currently Secretary of State. I think that the two roles would be quite a lot to manage. I think the Power Broker is a second person, but he might be affiliated with, as in like government contracts, as we've seen it was a Wilfred Nagel, who I'll get onto in a little bit. He was obviously he was first of all employed by the US government, and then he went to the Power Broker. So I have a feeling that the two are connected, the government and the Power Broker connected. Maybe the research was just passed over to, maybe when it got shelved, the Power Broker just almost bought them off Thunderbolt Ross to sort of continue the research, and him sort of go, okay, I'll give you all this as long as you promise me 6 super soldiers. I don't know whether that's going to have anything to do with the Black Widow trailer that's just come out, because obviously it looks like the Taskmaster is almost a Winter Soldier level, controlled by orders in that trailer. Whether that's going to have anything to do with it, who knows? It'd be really cool to see, I think, Taskmaster show up in this. That would be quite interesting, but I don't think it will.
Well,
I don't know.
Just to add on to that, I believe there is precedent in the comics for. I believe it was. This is testing my knowledge now. I believe Taskmaster trained Isaiah Bradley in the comics in the ways of fighting as Captain America because he knows how Captain America fights. Taskmaster trained one of the people who's been Captain America.
Didn't he train?
I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Elijah Bradley, who became Patriot, wasn't it that one?
I don't know. He trained
the nephew who we saw.
He trained one of the Captain Americas.
Yeah.
And you could see that same idea here of maybe he's on the Thunderbolts team, training US agent, training someone else to be a Captain America synergy, something like that. Whatever that word should be.
Synonym.
I really think that based on this trailer that came out this week, we knew that Falcon Winter Soldier was supposed to come out after Black Widow, and I believe when it was coming out, there was talk of maybe it was Ross, maybe it was Yelena Belova appearing in this show. I feel that's going to happen this episode. If you drop the trailer this week, we're miles from Black Widow. We're 3 months out.
Unless the next, I reckon the Power Broker. Okay, here's a theory. I can't remember what his name is now. Very famous British actor who was the one who was whispering into Taskmaster's ear. He might be the Power Broker.
He could be, yeah. What if he's that?
I do want to talk about Wilfred Nagel ever so quickly.
Yes.
Because what his appearance confirmed is that the Netflix series are not part of this universe. They're not going to be coming into this universe either. Because Wilfred Nagel appears in Jessica Jones.
Does he?
Yeah, he's the person who gives Jessica Jones his power. As in all the comics, Wilfred Nagel and the Power Broker are the people behind Jessica Jones' powers.
Is he in Jessica Jones?
Yeah, he's in Jessica Jones, but it's not that actor.
Interesting. Which is season 2?
I think so, yeah.
Because he's not in season 1.
He's definitely in. I think he's definitely in there. I can't remember if season. There's only been 2 seasons of Jessica Jones, haven't there? From what I remember. Yeah, so it's definitely season 2 then. Yes, he's in there. I was waiting when they mentioned Wilfred Nagel. I was honestly waiting, and when they were going through the lab, I was like, "Oh my god, it looks like they're building up to something. Is it going to be the same character and the same actor?" It wasn't, and that for me shows that maybe we will see Daredevil, maybe we will see Luke Cage or stuff, but it won't. It will either be alternate universe grabbing from them, or it won't be the same actors.
So, to counter and then counter back, what people will say is, well, can't 2 people just be called Wilfred Nagel? Yes, they can, but Marvel would not do it, because why? Why would you just name 2 people the same? Second, I think if the Netflix series are coming in, I think it's only ever multiverse.
Yeah.
I think you can't just pull them over because there's too many questions.
Yeah.
Of where these people were, how do they fit in with the whatever that superhero join the government act was.
Yeah.
The Sokovia Accords.
Yeah.
I do wonder what we will see going forwards tying these properties together. I do think that Hawkeye, Black Widow, and is there another one in there? Are all linked. Not Armor Wars. But all these Earth-based Black Widow, Hawkeye, Captain America, these sort of Earth-based super soldier-y things, I think they're all going to link. I think they are all Thunderboltsy. Whether they end up being or not,
or Young Avengers.
We'll see. Well, they can't all be Young. I think Young Avengers will spin off of this, but I think this one...
That's something we haven't mentioned is obviously, as we've said, the Patriot, which was Elijah Bradley, Isaiah Bradley's grandson. He was in this. Obviously...
Yeah.
The super soldier serum kind of gets diluted as it feeds down through generations, but he probably will have some residual super strength sort of stuff. So I have a feeling he's going to play into it. Another character who kind of takes up the mantle of Falcon, actually, when Falcon becomes Captain America, which we might end up seeing, who we haven't spoken about, is the inclusion of Torres. Joaquin Torres.
Oh, Torres. Can I just say, becomes fabulous actor, fabulous character. The difference with him in the comics, though, is he doesn't he get, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't he like part bird and he's part of Red Wing? Because Red Wing, for those of you who don't know, in the comics, Falcon's Red Wing, that's a little drone in this, is an actual bird.
Yeah.
And then doesn't he get? I don't remember.
He literally
but
gets
I'm
bird
sure that's a
powers.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like part bird. He's not really part bird, but I would like to see him as the Falcon to Sam's Captain America. And where we are in this series, I'm pretty confident that by the end of this series, Falcon will be Captain America.
Yeah.
And I think like I said in our preview, that will be the end point. I think the universe change that doesn't happen is you'll be like, well, Captain America hands the shield to Falcon, and then by the end of this series, yes, he will be Captain America.
It kind of has to still go for full circle, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that would be very, very cool to see. And I hope, my only question is, will we see costume? And I hope we do.
I think we will. I think there's been discussions, and I think there was a leak, weren't there, of a kind of design for Falcon's Captain America suit, from what I remember.
I don't know. I haven't seen that, I don't think. I've seen...
Or maybe it was just the one that he's currently wearing is the leak. I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw a leaked figure of something. I think it was a Marvel Legends figure off the top of my head.
That was it, yeah.
As Falcon Captain America.
Yeah.
But
that was his comic accurate one.
Months ago, and I'm pretty sure that's just a comic figure. I think it was just leaked as that, but I'm pretty sure that was just his comic figure.
But I think
we'll find out.
I think it'd be interesting to see that. I think Bucky will still be... So I reckon that scene in the trailer where it's like, oh, we're a team. Oh, we're co-workers sort of thing. That's end of the series. I have a feeling he's not going to get the shield until end of the series. I think those are the last shots. Him throwing the shield and him and Bucky walking off talking about being co-workers and stuff. That is the last shot of the series.
You think that's the last shot of the series?
Yeah.
I think episode 5 and 6 are those episodes. I think if he's going to be Captain America, we've got to see him as Captain America. And I think that's them sort of training for the big boss battle. I don't think you'd put it in the trailer otherwise. Otherwise, it just ruins the sort of end of the show, doesn't it?
Well, no,
imagine you get to the last 5 minutes of the show and be like, oh, we saw this.
No, because there was a shot of... So, the shot of Wanda and Vision kissing next to the window, which was the last shot of Vision being alive in WandaVision.
Yeah, but you don't know it's...
Was in the middle of the...
But that could have appeared anywhere. The fact that they haven't got the shield at this point, if we get to episode 5 and they don't have the shield, I wonder where the show's going to end.
I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised. We might still see him as Captain America. We might have got the shield before that, but I'm feeling those are the last shots. So I have a feeling Bucky will still be very much, not to quote John Walker too much, but like the wingman of Captain America. I think those two will still be going as a team. And maybe, yes, you then have Falcon, who I think maybe in some ways plays the role of Falcon in the Captain America when he's part of the Avengers, of he's out there doing something while Captain America and Bucky are doing Avengers stuff.
Yeah. I think one thing that we haven't touched on, there's two things we haven't touched on. Flag Smashers, Carly Morgenthau.
Yeah.
Morgenthau. Interesting. I
think they're good.
Interested in their story. I like them. I don't so much like the fact that she blew up loads of people.
Yeah,
but
that was then... Yeah,
you have an off day.
Yeah, it was as if she was... I was like, okay, I can almost support these guys, and then she blew them all up, and I was like, what?
So my hypothesis, my theory, I don't think, and I'm trying to remember, I don't think we've seen this in the MCU yet, but it always happens with these super soldier strength serums or whatever. You go a bit mad.
Which is what happened with Red Skull.
I wonder if the super soldier serums that they're being injected with are turning them a little bit mad.
Which would make sense.
Could lead to US Agent going crazy. Could lead to Thunderbolt Ross again becoming Red Hulk going crazy. I think that could be quite exciting.
Yeah.
The last thing. Something I didn't even consider, didn't even register, but we saw Ao at the end of that episode.
Yes.
From Wakanda. She's travelled over. She's come over. She's like, Bucky, we had a bro pact, and you screwed up. Which is basically what that look on her face is. She's like, No, it just looks like... Remember when we gave you a free arm? Yeah. How's that going for you?
We gave you a free arm and you broke out the person who killed our king.
Yeah. She's gonna... I'm just annoyed she's not going to beat him up. Because I'd quite like to see that. I would like to make one point. And again, this might be shooting myself in the foot. But it's frustrating me seeing it everywhere. Everyone's saying... Oh, this was supposed to be Black Panther. They were going to put Black Panther in this. No. This was going to be Black Panther, and then he passed away. Not a harsh no, but just a can we please let Chadwick Boseman rest in peace? He was Black Panther, but he was also a human being. And I'm getting a bit frustrated with just seeing everyone be like, oh, so Black Panther was supposed to be here. I don't know if you're aware, but actually this scene was going to play. I'm like, first of all, we've yet to see any significant actor on a Disney Plus show, and I don't think we will. So
not
no,
saying
I
that
think
these guys
they're
aren't.
using... No, but the mainstays, the Doctor Stranges, the Thors, the actual Chris Evans Captain America. So I just think I wish people can just let him rest now. Okay, he's not Black Panther anymore. We'll see what's going to happen in Black Panther 2. He hadn't passed away when they filmed this, so if he was going to be there, he would be. So let's just move on and stop.
I think it was always
telling us how great he is.
I had a feeling it was always going to be AO anyway, because it makes sense that it would be someone who is very closely affiliated with Bucky.
Well, to me, it makes the most sense because she was the one who was in Civil War, if I remember correctly. She's the one who stands... I think she's the only Dora Milaje in Civil War, actually.
Yeah, because...
But she's the one who, I think, stands in front of the car, so Black Widow can't get in.
Yeah. Well, and also, it wouldn't make sense to have been Black Panther because he got rid of his revenge sort of idea. He was like, no, I won't let it consume me, so he wouldn't come back and let it consume him again.
Yeah. I'm very curious to see where this goes, how much of a role they'll play. Obviously, they've kept this... So what I find interesting is Sharon only just appeared, episode 3.
Yeah.
So did the Dora Milaje, AO. Are they going to play a significant role? Or would you just tell us if they did?
I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Sharon Carter again.
Oh, neither would I. I just thought that was really odd that she's on the posters, but she's in that scene. But also you've got AO, who must be in more, because got to at least have a scene being like, yo, I'm here to get Zemo by. At the very least.
There needs to be a resolution to that, yeah.
So I would be curious as to why they didn't advertise this if they advertised Sharon, if that makes sense.
Unless it's something bigger.
Yeah, unless this is going somewhere even bigger, blah 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 blah. So I'll be curious to see.
Yeah.
This show's good.
It is.
It's nice. It's a nice little weekly one. I do not mind watching it weekly. I'll be honest with you. I think the longer episodes help. I think in comparison to WandaVision, I think it's less cliffhangery, which helps. So yeah, I'm content. I'm excited to see more.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about episode 4 and 5 next.
Yeah.
So in a couple of weeks, we'll talk about both of those. As always, please let us know what you think down in the comment section below. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Please like the video. That always helps us reach lots more lovely listeners. And we shall see you next time on the Two Dudes Movie Podcast.
See you soon.